welcome one and all to this marketing special interest group. What is this special interest group all about? We have various other verticals, but here marketing is a horizontal where once a month we connect on a particular marketing topic. Today it is on personal branding. Very soon, TiE Chennai is also going to send across a form if you'd be interested to join a WhatsApp group specific to the marketing SIG, where we can discuss your marketing questions, potential speakers, courses, and workshops for you and for your business. So that's what marketing SIG is all about. Coming to today, 1857, one of India's first war of independence, a war against tyranny and the right to rule ourselves, and that war was led by Mangal Pandey. 150 years later came another Pandey, this time to lead us on the war against shyness, against any self-limiting belief, a war to put ourselves in front and make sure that our name and voice is heard. This war is being led by Nandita Pandey, one of India's leading personal branding coaches. She is also a professional speaker, a co-founder of Global Pupils, and a chief image consultant of Prismatic Consulting. The challenge that most of us face is, hey, I don't know what to project. I don't know how to project. Well, Nandita has got a framework and she's going to be talking to us about it. Till date, she's trained over 3,000 people, including clients like Audi, Mercedes, Tata Motors, Nestle, Siemens, Vodafone, and Bosch. She is the author of Dressology, a book that you will see in her background. And please visit nanditapandey.com to know more about her and connect. Nandita Pandey. Anytime you see somebody with a mush, you'll think about Mangal Pandey or Pravin Shekar. But anytime you think about dress and personal branding, think about Nandita Pandey. The flow will be Nandita will give a presentation. Keep your questions running because I'm going to be moderating the questions. And when it is time for Q&A, I will let you folks unmute and then come and ask. As usual, there is a prize for the most engaging, enthusiastic participant. So let's roll. Welcome, Nandita. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Praveen, for that wonderful introduction. I never knew I was, it is a pleasure to be compared to Mangal Pandey. Thank you so much for that. I hope I do justice to the Pandey surname that I have carrying with me as a legacy right now. So I'm presenting that box to make it interesting. Otherwise, it becomes a monologue. So are we ready? So done deal. So I'm going to start about building personal brand and why brand you is important. So I'm going to start off with a question. And the question is, when you think of popular brands, famous brands, brands that are there, right, which you admire, can you give me some names, type them in the chat box of brands that you think you admire or are standout brands for you? So I'm just listening to Apple, ITC. I always get this Apple first. Okay, so I'm ITC, Benz, Tatas. Okay, a couple of them. Okay. Haha. Okay, I like that. Okay, Ford. Okay, so there was a research done in 2019, 20. We did not have that research thanks to COVID. And these were the most admired brands in the world, with Vodafone, Nike, Amazon, McDonald's, of course, Apple, Zara being there. But can you give me some of the reasons why these brands were so admired worldwide? It's not in India, it's not in a particular continent, it's worldwide. Why were these brands so admired? What makes these brands stand out or be top of the head recall when you think of these? Or give me the reasons why you gave certain names here, which Ford, Tatas, and all that. Yeah. Image, perception. Okay. Reliable. Okay. Very interesting. Goodwill. Okay. Value. I wish. Okay. Benz gave value. Okay. Okay. Bias. I like that, Rishabh. Bias. PFM, trust. Perfect. Popularity. Okay. Now, I'm going to extend the question now. Credibility, Apple, niche, and innovation, how they communicate, beautiful answers. So the reasons why these brands were so popular was because they delivered what they promised. They gave value to the customer. They had a connect with the customer. They were able to do they had a brand story to tell. Okay. And I'm going to extend this question a little further. And I'm going to ask you, can you name people who are brands today? Just type out answers of people who you think are admired brands, popular brands. And the answer that I am looking for, if I get that, I give you a copy of my book. Okay, I was waiting for Rajnikant to start the ring, because whenever I do it in Chennai, Rajnikant tops the list, right? There's Saurabh Ganguly, Rajnikant, Richard Branson, Ratan Tata, Sridhar Vembu, Modi, Steve Jobs, Kalam, Modi, Arun, got it right. Okay. Tatas, Dhoni, Virat Kohli, J.R.D. Tata, Amitabh Bachchan. One name that I'm looking for is not there. Narayan Murthy, of course, is a big brand, but one particular name that I'm looking at, come on, guys. Elon Musk, yes, the name that is a brand today. One's very interesting name that you guys are missing out. Very, very interesting one. My favorite, in fact. Shah Rukh, not my favorite, but yeah. Sundar Pichai, MS Dhoni, Indira Gandhi. Okay. Okay, last 30 seconds. Whoever gets this right gets a copy of the book. Modi. Okay, it started from Modi, became Modi. Yes, Modi is a brand. In fact, the erstwhile Nehru jackets are not called Modi jackets. Pravin Shekar, of course, is the biggest brand India can ever have. I agree with you. Some clues, please. Okay, I'll give you one clue here. The brand is present in this room. That's the last clue I'm giving. The brand that I'm talking about, TiE is not a person. But yes, us. I want a very specific name. Me. Rishabh, you've got it. Can we give a round of applause to Rishabh, please? So yes, I think you are the most admired brand. And I think most of us, Miss Pandey, thank you, Jyoti. I love you for that. You get another copy of the book, but not for the correct answer, but for impressing me and making me happy in the back end of the day. So please understand, and I want you to think about it. The reasons why people are brands is because they are credible. You said that, right? They promise what they deliver. They have a connect, right? And when we think of people, we named everybody why they were admired. We gave names from film stars to politicians to business owners to our very own Pravin Shekar, the most important brand that TiE has, or even Chennai has for right now. But we forgot our own names. And I want you to really think about it. Why not our own names? Because Pravin did say that I will shamelessly talk about it. So I am going to do justice to that word here. But can you think of reasons why you did not give out your own names? Because all of us know that we are credible, we are reliable, we promise what we deliver. We are looked upon by thousands of people or hundreds of people who we are in contact with. Yes, I may not be an international brand today, but that's because I've played it on a small playing field. The day I decide to make my playing field bigger, nothing stops me from being there. So what stopped me? Ajanta, never thought of it. Don't want to blow my own trumpet. Okay. Shy. I like that word shy somewhere. It resonates very much with all of us. Embarrassment. Don't know how many people know me. Nelson, I think if you look around, go on your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even on your Instagram page, look around you, your family, friends. There are thousands of people, hundreds of people who know you. Yes, I agree. We compare ourselves with people who are above us, which is very nice. But understand, they also started from somewhere. Challenge is when we think of brands, we miss out the most important person, and that is us. And I'll tell you something which I've learned over a period of time, and having interviewed around 85 people who are established brands, as some of the people that we've named here, is that only when you think you are good enough will the world think you're good enough. If you doubt your own abilities, capabilities, if you think, oh, I'm not that good, do you think I need to be there? The world will also question that, It's not about blowing your own trumpet. Now, that is the misnomer I want to clarify here. Branding is not blowing your own trumpet. Branding is not talking about, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. So let's understand what is branding. And then I'm going to ask you this question at the end of it again and ask you whether you think you are capable of being a brand. And let me start with that question. So what exactly is branding? Okay, so branding, according to me, is a very simple thing. It's about being visible. It's about being responsible. It's about being consistent, unique, original. It's about being authentic. How many of you in this room believe that you're not any of these? If you are not, please type a no. Most of you, all of you are relevant. All of you add value to people's lives, right, around you. So why are you not considering yourself as a brand? Please remember, you have decided to play in the playing field or in this domain or in this arena today. Maybe local, maybe India is your playing field, maybe global. If you make your playing field bigger, you will attract more people. I will start something long back, and I'm going to share that with you. The day you are born, you are branded. Let's understand that. The day you go, if you remember, if you've ever gone to a hospital and seen a newborn baby, okay, you look at the baby, look at the baby, feel very happy about it, look at the parents, and then, tell the parents, oh, the nose is like the mother, the eyes are like the father, the fingers are like the grandmother. We all have been guilty of doing that, or we all do it all the time. The question is, what are we doing? We are actually labeling the baby or branding the baby by looks, because that's the only thing that is available to us at that time. Fast forward 10, 15 years, okay? And there are two things that your mother would have told you about your neighbor's son or neighbor's daughter, okay? To be like them or not to be like them. So if they were the ones who obeyed their parents, who were successful, got through IIT, if you're living in Chennai and they were preparing for IIT and they got through IIT, that is a standard of success here, right? You were called and your parents told you, okay, be like that Anna, be like that Akka. But if they were one of those rebellious people, you were told, don't be like them. What were your parents doing? They were labeling or branding your neighbors. Please remember, people label or brand you every single minute based on their experiences. Now, it is important in business for us to understand that and make it work in our favor so that we can change the branding that they have for us so that it works and helps us get business. All of us are into business here, and all of us want our business to grow. As MSMEs, the only thing why people do business with you is because of the brand value that you have. Trust me, it's not your product or service at this point in time. And I'm sure all of us have done something which I'm going to share with you. So if you like someone, do you not go out of your way to buy products and services from them? Do you not recommend them to other people? Do you not try out their product at least? But if you don't connect with somebody, if you don't find that trust or connect with somebody, even if the product is good, you are reluctant to buy the product because it's about that person's personal relationship or brand that they have with you that makes you buy or not buy in the initial stages. So please remember, branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. When I'm in the room, Pravin is going to say, I'm one of the best. I'm like Mangal Pandey. When I'm not in the room, I want to hear what Pravin says about me, because that will determine what my brand value is. The question is, what brand value do you want to have? And that is what we want to talk about right here, right now. Moving on. Why is it important for business owners? And happen when we need, there has to be buying power and there has to be trust. Okay. Now, need is, I'm sure you have products where there is a need in the market, and how you project your products would have a need in the market. Buying power is easy thanks to loans, EMI options. Even if your product is very expensive, people will still buy it because you're able to sell, and that's why customers do. You're able to take part of the money part of it. The most important reason why people don't buy your product or service is because they don't trust brand you at times. It has nothing to do with you only. It is also about how you project yourself. So let's understand why is it so important for you to actually work on this very important aspect called trust. So if I tell you, I want to change my toothpaste, I'm just tired of this Colgate that I've been using for years. I want to change my brand of toothpaste. Which toothpaste will you give me or refer? 30 seconds to type out the answers. Let's make it quick. Which toothpaste brand would you going to recommend for me? I don't like Colgate anymore. Sensodyne, Dabur Red. I want more answers. Only 2, huh? Close up. 3. Okay. Lister. Okay, it's the first time I'm hearing that. Dabur again. Gopal toothpaste, Miswak, charcoal, Gopal, Pal, Podi. Okay. Thank you. In 30 seconds, we were able to give 5 to 6 names, right? Now, if you look at these names that you've given, toothpaste is something you use day in and day out. Even then, it took time for you to type out and think. If for anybody, you are not a top of the head recall in your domain or service in what you do, you miss out on business. Please understand, if I wanted toothpaste and the top 5 that I got were not something and I would have tried or not tried, but beyond that, I don't even look at toothpaste. I will not go down to say, okay, what have you answered? So typically the answers that I get are Pepsodent, Dabur, Sensodyne. Nambodhari is another brand that I get very often in South. Now, each one of these brands, including Sensodyne and Nambodhari, have their own values. So though they are in the same space, but each of them has its own value proposition that they bring onto the table, and that makes them unique. Similarly, in your business, there will be a lot of things, a lot of competitions, a lot of competitors. But the question is, how do you bring out your uniqueness to people so that you are the top of the head recall for the product or service that you offer? So I'm going to ask you another question based on this. If I have gums which are bleeding gums, okay, I have bleeding gums or I have gum issues, which toothpaste will you recommend now? Sensodyne. Thank you, Jyoti, for that. Right? 1, 2, 3. Answers are faster right now. So you need to identify which is what area do you want to be a top of the head recall for, because if you are not a top of the head recall, you're missing out on business very interestingly. So moving on, why? Let's look at that. So how do you become a top of the head recall for people? You have to have a heart connect. Now, at the end of the day, our customers are emotional creatures. They justify their buying decisions through logic. Is a statement you would have heard hundreds of times. Trust me, it's all about dil se. If you are able to have a heart-to-heart connect with the people, with your target market, you will be able to be a top of the head recall. Now, I want to clarify who your target market is here before I move further. A lot of us, when we think of branding, think that I have to go and conquer the world. No, that is not branding. In your niche, in your area, identify who your key stakeholders are, who are your target customers. Are you a top of the head recall for them? Trust me, even names like Narendra Modi, Virat Kohli, or anybody for that matter, Sundar Pichai may not be known to every single human being on this earth. A Sundar Pichai may not be known to a guy who's pulling a rickshaw cart. But does Sundar Pichai care about that? No. People who matter to him, people who are buying his products and services, if he is the top of the head recall, that is what it matters. So for you, it is very important to identify your target market and be a top of the head recall for them, not for everybody else. The second most important thing is, dil se is important, but what value are you adding in people's life? Like I said, it's not about marketing, tom-tomming about who you are, going ahead and making social media posts. It's about adding value to people's life. What is it that you're doing that is adding value to your customer's life, to your stakeholders' life? That will make you top of the head recall. Of course, you need to be 100% authentic, because if you are not, you cannot fake it for long. People do see through you. So genuine concern to help, reach out, and be able to give the best to the customers or your stakeholders is something that will make you a top of the head recall. You cannot fake it for long. The last is you deliver what you promise. If you go even once below on quality or other issues, you do not become a top of the head recall. Remember that, especially when you're establishing yourself, each customer is important. Each feedback is important. Each customer's way of spreading that network for you is extremely important. So you need to get it right every time, each time. And that is why consistency plays an important role. So to sum it up, to be a powerful personal brand, only 2 things are required. You need to be consistent and you need to be authentic. genuinely reaching out, helping people, they'll say, and being consistent day in, day out in whatever you do. That is why every message or every point of contact your customer has with you, he needs to say the same image, same branding, same you. And that is where the trust goes up, the customer. And I say any brand can be charismatic. It depends on only one person, that is you. So let's look at the 4 pillars on which branding stands. Okay. Who do you want to be? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? I'm going to talk about that. Who are you? I'm not talking spirituality. We live in a land of spiritual gurus. They're enough right from Coimbatore to the Himalayas. Please follow any one of them for spirituality based on your preferences in life. I'm going to talk about a different aspect of who you are in terms of competencies. How do you present yourself to the world? And the last is, how does the world perceive you? There is a difference. I think I'm the best. I want to believe I'm the best, but my customers don't. There's a huge disconnect. So we want to talk about that right now on this. So going back, what do you want to be known for? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? Now, most people find this challenging. Most of us do not know what is the personal brand I want to leave behind. I may have business goals. I may have goals for, have career aspirations, but I don't know what are the things that I want people to say about me when I'm not in the room. And that is important. Please understand, your personal brand values as an MSME get depicted in your business. So your business brand values, if you look at it, are a reflection of your personal brand values. And anything and everything that you do has to be linked to your values. So what is it that is important for you? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What is it that you want people to say about you? If you have clarity on this, you start in mind, it becomes you to need to leave that legacy behind. Simon Sinek says, start with the why. I say, what is it that you want to leave behind? If you know why you want to leave behind, what you want to leave behind, it becomes easy for you to discover the how part of it. And that is easy. The last 2 parts are relatively easy. The first 2 are more difficult. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? I want you to go back today and think about it and maybe write it down on a piece of paper to say, this is what I want the world to say when I'm no longer there. Trust me, it will not only be materialistic, there'll be a lot of other things because you're not only about business and money. You are a 360-degree human being. So what is the legacy that you want to leave behind when you're no longer there? Think about that. That will help you determine your personal brand values. That will help you determine how you need to brand yourself. The second part, vertical that I talk about is who you are. And I'm going to talk about knowledge, skills, and mindset. I make it very simple. A lot of research has gone into it, and they say that people who are super successful or people who are success stories in the world have these 3 components. They have knowledge, they have skills, and they have a mindset. Now, I want you to type out an answer to tell me what percentage of success depends on knowledge plus skills as a combined entity, and what percentage is mindset. Just type out randomly. No more gifts here, but I'm sure Pravin is noting who's participating, so you get something there. 50, 50, 25, 75, okay. Mindset 100%, 80, mindset Jyoti, mindset 95%, okay. Rishabh and Arun neck. Okay, Pravin is giving you an updated score. Suresh, 80, 15, 15, 70, okay. Mindset 60, 70, 80, 20. A lot of correct answers here, so let me proceed. I think we've got it right. Super successful people have 80% of their success depends on their mindset. It's only 20% which determines is their knowledge and skills. Now, what happens to most of us? So congratulations to all of those who got the right answer. You can pat yourselves on the back and celebrate. Yeah. Now, please also understand a very important thing, that it's only 20%, but whenever we are looking at anything, we look at knowledge and skills to upgrade our knowledge and skills when we enhance our business, because that's the easiest of it all. Mindset is the most difficult one. So I'm going to share a quick story with you, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm sure most of you are younger to me, or some of you may be my age. I'm not going to share my age here. The question is, have you heard of a guy called Vinod Kambli here? And if you have, just tell me, who is he? Okay, yes. So who is Vinod Kambli? Former cricketer, Indian cricketer, former Indian cricketer. Okay. Former Indian cricketer, ex-cricketer. Perfect. A lot of you know Vinod Kambli. Beautiful. Thank you. I love that, Shri Ganesh, you said Sachin's best friend, Sachin's friend. I get that. I was waiting for that answer. That's my favorite. All of us know who's Sachin. Anybody here who doesn't know Sachin Tendulkar, please type no for Sachin. Everybody knows, right? So who is Sachin now? Tell me that. Who is Sachin? Legend, okay? Master blaster, century of centuries, former Indian.
This is where we step in, and she's taken a quick single while she sets her internet in order. Just look at this formula, ladies and gentlemen. Can you write the formula down for yourself and figure out where you stand, specifically on the mindset front that she's talking about? But more importantly, and I'm just extrapolating my learning here, when she asked the question about Vinod Kambli, several answers came out. When I ask a question to a Rishabh or an Arun or a Jyoti, what would you want the other people to think about? When I say, who is Arun Ramaswamy or Rishabh or Jyoti or Ramesh in this case, can you write that down while we wait for Nandita to come back and join? Because my sincere request and the appeal to each one of you attending this is to take these learnings and implement it within 24 hours. When the high or the rush after the event is still on, that it makes us that much more easy for us to go ahead. Rishabh says an ideal human being. You would need to be a bit more specific, Rishabh, when you're talking about personal branding. Priya, while I speak about it, could you please connect to Nandita on her phone? I do not know.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, I was listening to your story, Pravin. I was back. I only took a single.
Over to you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And apologies for the internet playing the culprit. Okay, so most of you said that Sachin is demigod of cricket, which is very true. And India decided to get back the World Cup. The Indian cricket team decided to get back the World Cup after 20 years. Yes, there was passion and wanted to get it back for the country, but they wanted to get it back for their demigod, because that was the last year Sachin was playing cricket. And they all did more than their 100% to ensure that the World Cup comes back to them. And if you remember the pictures that were there, though Dhoni took the cup, he gave it to Sachin immediately. That was why India decided. Now, going back to the man who is a legend in cricket, he is a legend not because of his knowledge and skills. He's a legend because of his mindset. If you look at the cricketing pundits or the kind of data that is available to us, Vinod Kambli's cricketing skills, his ability to bat and handle each ball was much better than that of Sachin, right? But he still did not become a legend because of the mindset issue. I'm not going to look at what went wrong, but when he got out on a 0 in a World Cup in Australia, I think that was the end of his cricketing career. At the ripe age of 22, where today cricketers start their cricketing careers, he put a full stop to international cricket at that time. What did Sachin do? He got out at 0 so many times, but what did he do? He went back, practiced, came back and performed better and better and better and improved on his skills and knowledge based on his mindset. 55 days back to back, practicing, playing a match, practicing, sleeping on the dining table. It takes guts, it takes passion, it takes determination. It takes a lot more than just knowledge and skills to become a legend. And today, even when he's not there, everybody calls him a demigod of cricket or a legend. The question is, I like Pravin stole my question. What is it? People want to get inspired by you. People want to follow you. And you strike back after every failure stronger than before, like a phoenix. That's what we're talking about. That is who you are, and that makes you consistent. One day per prime minister, one day cricketer, one day successful businessman is not what makes you a powerful brand. If you want to be a brand, day in, day out is the mantra. Let's look at the next third pillar of branding, and this is my favorite. So how do you present yourself to the world? So if I give a compliment to you, okay, how do you handle that compliment? Do you take it and feel good about it, or you start justifying yourself? So let me tell you a short story here. When I was in school, okay, my teacher once told me in one of my maths class, and I was not a good math student. I had taken an off because I'd broken my ribs. I'd taken a month off. So I asked her a very simple question. I said, why do we study calculus? And she said, because when you're landing a plane, and so that there is no plane doesn't crash, you study calculus to understand the angle at which the plane has. About speed, velocity, she explained something. I said, no, am I going to build bridges? So she turned around and told me, Nandita, you will not do anything in life. You will only do dhobi ka hisab. Addition, subtraction is good enough for you. A 16-year-old being told that in a class where everybody laughs is a big, big self-respect hurt. It just shatters you somewhere. That day in class 12, I decided not to attend maths classes after that. A decision I'm not very proud of today, but I was very determined to execute at that point in time. Net result, from an 82% in class 10, I end up with a 56% in class 12, thanks to maths, where I barely passed with 40%. Now, what happened is what I want you to focus on. My teacher told that to me once in class, but what did I do? So the question is, are you also going through that? People may have called you fat, people may have called you dark. There's a fetish for being fair in India. And we actually, one or two people may have said that once. But what are we doing? We actually accept that as our reality and start believing it. So when somebody gives us a compliment, somebody gives us bigger projects, there is that self-doubt in us. And we think we are not, we've covered it, we've put it in a box and thrown the key somewhere, but that actually doesn't happen. What happens is when you are going through this kind of an issue, you actually challenge your own self and you're not consistent. So there are days or bouts in which you go in and you go out. And that is why consistency takes a toll, even if you think you handled the issue. So what are you thinking about yourself? What is the story you're telling yourself about yourself? What is it that you're using? What words are you using to communicate about yourself to yourself or about others? Please understand, all this that is happening at your subconscious level gets depicted in the book. All that affects subconsciously in the way you present yourself. So I may think, oh, it happened long back, but have you dealt with those issues is a question, because that will again impact the way you project yourself and in turn your branding. So please remember, you can't go back to your teacher and fight with her. You can't go back to your parents. You can't go back to your neighbors. You need to work on your internal wiring, change the wiring. I always say it is your life, your story. You write it the way you want it. And especially your brand story is something that you own. So please rewrite those stories in your head, make them into something more powerful. Retell yourself the stories where you have been a super success or you've come out of problems, so that you start believing, yes, you are a part to reckon with and the world is waiting for you. That is the story you need to tell yourself, so that you can become more powerful and more aggressive in the way you project yourself to the world. So keeping that in mind, let's come to the fourth pillar of branding, which is, how does the world perceive you? And this is important because the world perceives you in 4 ways. In my book, I've also mentioned that there is a 7-second in which people judge you. Is it right? Is it wrong? I'm not getting into that right now, but yes, people do judge you. It's a survival instinct in human beings to judge people. It makes us feel a part of a cohesive group. And what do they judge you on? First is your appearance. How do you appear in front of them? So if you appear, now appearance is not about looking slim, being fit. Yes, that is important. But appearance is also about being appropriately dressed for an occasion, right? Appearance for me is being ready to take the world on with whoever you are, being comfortable in your own skin. That is appearance. Remember one thing, good looks is in your genes, genes, not the jeans that we wear. Looking good is in your hands. Very important. I may be tall, I may be fat, I may have a receding hairline, I may be something which I'm not very comfortable with, but how I carry myself is important. I may be fat, I may be having a paunch. It could be, I can't go back to my parents and tell them, hey, why were you short? Or can't go back to my mom and say, why did you marry a guy who was dark? But what I can do is accept myself for who I am and look presentable, confident, mature, and understand what is the messaging that I want to do to the world and dress accordingly. If I want to look professional, I need to dress up professional. If I want to look casual in a day, I need to dress up casually. So please understand the messaging can change by the attire that you wear. And this is something you need to be aware of. It's not about branded clothes. It is never about branded clothes. It's about carrying yourself in whatever clothes you wear. That should become a brand when you are a powerful personal brand. So it's not about buying a Nike, Adidas, or Reebok, or an Alice Sollier or a Van Sant. Picking up a shirt from a Pandey bazaar, matching it correctly, right? Getting the message, your communication, your behavior, your body language, everything to suit the other person is important. And if you're able to do that, people perceive you in a way that is positive. The third is communication, and communication is very important. Here, I'm not talking about talking in English, Tamil, Marathi, Telugu, or Malayalam. What I'm talking about is how are you connecting with the people who are with you to get across your communication message to your end customer in a way that you intend to get it across. That is important. And that can only happen, trust me, when you know what is the end goal. So I'll give you a very interesting example here. When till today, I'm not able to speak Tamil. Okay. And I always think that I used to feel guilty at a point in time till the time I realized that, okay, most of my corporate clients do not need me to speak the language. I'm not very proud of the fact, but then at the end of the day, my target market customer base in my B2B business is corporate clients, and they are okay with me only knowing English. So what happens is I don't pull myself down for not knowing a language, which makes me appear more confident. I'm able to communicate better with my clients. I'm able to give them examples or stories which are relevant for them. And that is what matters. So my appearance, my behavior, and my communication are linked based on what I think about myself. And that is dependent on who is my target market or who is my end customer at the end of the day. The last part in how people perceive you today, and thanks to COVID, which has accentuated the whole thing, is the digital presence. Your Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, everything needs to speak the same language. Most of you may never meet me physically, or we may never interact with each other, but we meet every day. LinkedIn profiles, think about what you send across in these platforms. I would want to give you a small activity to do once the session is over. Go to your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page and have a look at the top only five posts that you have posted, and see what impression somebody gets after looking at those 5 posts. What is the messaging that you've sent across? And trust me, that is what people will start believing. You will start believing that. So please keep your social media distant, keep it powerful, keep it in a way that aligns with your brand values, and that is how it will work. So let me just conclude this with a recap session. You need to be at top of the head recall in your niche. So most important is please identify a niche for yourself, add massive value in whatever you're doing, always have an emotional connect with people, because people buy emotionally, they buy with logic. Consistency and authenticity are two keys on which personal brand happens. Opportunities, you need to perform each and every what you want.
Good. So I'm back again. Extremely sorry about the audio glitch here, but things that are beyond our control, I'm sure each of you would understand. But do you have questions on personal branding for Nandita? If you could write down the questions, but there is something that I did put a note saying it was a phenomenal super punch dialogue that she did. Can any of you remember, recollect, and put it in here? What was that punch dialogue that she spoke about? And no, I cannot fight with my father for my head because it goes back several generations, but there is something that I can do about it. What is that? Yes, Ajanta, you've rolled back quite long. I want that specific punch dialogue that Nandita was talking about. Jyoti, you are close. You're getting close to what Nandita said. Jawahar, you've moved slightly behind. I want that specific punch dialogue that Nandita spoke about. Jyoti, you got the first half right. Arun Ramaswamy hits it out of the park here. Good looking is not in your control. Looking good is entirely in your hands. Lovely, Arun. Yes, it is. It's not genes. Jyoti, you were close. I will tear the book into two and give you half a book. You've been a lovely audience here. Lovely audience. Nandita, are you back now? Not yet. Ajanta, any specific questions? Jyoti, I've written 8 of them, so you can buy all 8 if you want. Folks, I'm very passionate about this personal brand. And until Nandita comes, would you like me to narrate a question that I had in mind that I bounced off my mentor, specific to personal branding? Right. My question was, and I was a startup at that point, and I was also the CEO of the startup company. And my question to my mentor, who's also a TiE Chennai charter member, J. Krishnan JK, was, I've got a limited time and money, JK. What do I invest in? And he said, first priority is always your personal brand, because the company may be sold, acquired, closed, and whatever may happen. But you are going to live through. And therefore, an investment in your personal brand has a much longer ROI. It is necessary to invest in the company as well. Absolutely. But your first priority has to be your personal brand. And that was something he put me on track more than a decade and a couple of years ago. And that is something that I would like to share with you. And that is what Nandita has also been talking about. Lavanya, Naresh, Pramod, any questions here? Because Nandita is going to be available even with questions. Ajanta's question, quick tips for an independent MR consultant on personal branding, taking the current scenario into account, please. By MR, what do you mean by MR, Ajanta? That's a question for Nandita, and I would let Nandita answer. Market research, Ajanta, my man. I did not know if you are aware, but I've got a market research company as well. Nandita, if you are back, can you take this question from Ajanta Roy?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was not able to unmute myself, Pravin.
Okay.
So, okay. Yeah. So can we have the question? I was just.
The question is from Ajanta Roy. Quick tips for an independent market research consultant on personal branding, taking the current scenario into account, please.
Okay. So first, Ajanta, you need to identify what is it that you want. Even in market research, there are various areas that are there. What specific niche do you want to master in? Always start with one niche and then move to various areas. So identify that one niche for yourself and then see how you can add value to your clients by giving them information that they need. Never be afraid that if you give too much of information, they will not come back to you. Because if you give them tips, if you give them solutions, basic solutions, identify what their pain areas are, and through your videos, chats, posters are able to communicate that to them, they think that you have much more to offer. And that is the value that you're adding to your customers, and they will want to work with you. So identify what is the specific area that you want to work in and what value you can add to them by understanding their pain points and giving solutions to them as videos, as reels today, that is very common, or even as posters or infographics. That's something that you can start doing immediately.
Brilliant. We have a question from Manik, and I need the answer for that as well. Can an introverted person do personal branding well?
Yes, they can. It is difficult. Let me start off with that. And Pravin is the most introverted person I've ever seen in my life. So if Manik, you're someone like Pravin, I'm sure it's going to be very easy for you. But yes, it is a little difficult because, again, it's a mindset issue to think that branding is about talking about your success. Branding, like I said, is not only about talking about your success, it's about adding value. And trust me, introvert people, through the work that they do, add a lot of value to people. It's about putting it out in the market. If you are not comfortable, my honest suggestion to you is hire an agency to do it for you. Because if you are not good at projecting yourself, ask somebody, but tell the value that you're adding, because never outsource what the value that you're adding, because that cannot be outsourced. What can be outsourced is somebody helping you to say how to put it across to the market. But the value that you're adding, the nuggets of wisdom that you're giving is only yours. And you will be able to do it, provided you tie up with someone or get it out of your head that marketing is about bragging, tom-tomming. If you get that out of your head, it'll be easy for you. But yes, they are extremely successful as personal brands. And you will look around you, big names are a lot. Sudha Murthy, a very powerful personal brand, introvert. Sundar Pichai. So that is possible. Yeah. Go ahead, Praveen, next question. I hope that answers this question. Yeah.
This question is from Lavanya Srinivas. How do you know you are branding yourself right?
Okay. So a couple of things you can do. If you're branding yourself right, you will start getting inquiries. You will have more engagement in your posts. So if you look at the social media way, you will get more engagement in your post. Now, there is a difference. You will have friends who will just keep liking it. And initially, for an ego massage, do that also. Form a group of people to ask you, because that's how you can beat the system. But if you're getting your branding right, you will start getting inquiries for your product. You will start getting people asking you questions. At times, people may also challenge what you're saying, because somewhere it may not go with their way of working or their ethos or their personal values, which means that you are on the right track, where you're actually unsettling certain boards, which is, if that's the kind of marketing you're okay with, that is also important. And that also gets you a lot of followers. So it is all about you giving it your best, and people inquiring things from you. That would be the answer. Yeah. Praveen, I can't. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Next question is from Jyoti Thomas. I feel an extrovert too will have trouble and would prefer somebody else does it. That's an observation. The question is, for a first timer, how much does one have to set aside, a minimum ballpark figure if possible?
Jyoti, you don't have to set aside a ballpark figure until unless you're hiring a consultant. You can start off in your own small way. Start if you're not comfortable, right, making videos. Start with reels, blogs. There are a lot of ways in which you can reach out to people. Reach out to people around you. Ask them for testimonials. You don't need to set aside money. But yes, if you want to start with a consultant, there would be a consulting fees that they would have, and of course something to project you on social media and also to understand you and help you identify your niche. A good consultant would first help you identify your niche, because most of the times people are not aware of the niche that they need to follow, where their strengths lie and where it's the low hanging fruits. If they're able to get that, then the revenue starts coming in and becomes easier for you. So a ballpark figure, if you ask me, anywhere around 15 to 25 to 30,000, depending on the consultant you're hiring, it would be a good enough amount to start working. These are not social media experts. These are people who are into the space of consulting. Yeah, that's a difference.
Brilliant. One question from Saras. What is the first step you should take for personal branding? Well, we've got the recording, so Saras, you can watch it all through again. But a quick answer to him, please.
Okay, quick answer, Saras. Take time out, sit and identify the legacy that you want to leave behind. Start with the end in mind. I would always say that.
Beautiful. Jyoti Thomas, come on, Jyoti. You know, she doesn't like maths. She's bunked all her maths classes, but Jyoti wants the formula. She wants to know the formula in terms of the, just ran away. Is there any formula, number of times or every X number of days to create visibility?
No, I wouldn't recommend that. It depends on you and how well. It's about consistency. It is not about number of days and number of posts. Yes, there are a lot of people on social media say 5 posts a day, 3 posts a day, one post every day. I would say whatever you do, do it consistently. Even if it's 3 posts a week, do it regularly. Don't do it for 1 week, full energy, boost, and next day like somebody sucked your energy. Please be consistent in the messaging. That is more important. And also understand branding is not overnight success. It is not you do it today, tomorrow you get your first client. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of effort to establish a brand. And if you have that clear, you will be able to do it consistently. But if you think, okay, 2 months ho gaya, koi business nahi aaya, nothing has happened, then it's going to be difficult for you. So please be prepared for anything between 3 to 6 months to a year to be able to establish your credibility in the market, which is a top of the head recall. Yeah.
Another question from Ajanta Roy, who wants to know all the secrets how you do your business. Need to know a bit about how you help a client get into successful personal branding, Nandita.
Okay, my trade secret, huh? Okay, Ajanta, I would answer that for you. So, Ajanta, my first thing I work with a client is, again, I spend a lot of time to understand who they are, and also a lot of time to help them understand their niche and their strengths. Once that is done, I think my job as a consultant is just to give them various tools which are there to say, okay, you do these 3 things is going to give you faster success. That, and they do it themselves. But the bigger challenge for me is helping them remove the mind blocks, helping them identify the niche that they want for themselves and their own strengths. Because most people who come to me, and I'm talking about senior corporate guys also, they have a lot of mind blocks regarding branding, mind blocks regarding this will not work, this is what happened to me. So I work a lot on your internal wiring than on your external initially. That's what I would say, yeah. So that's how I work with my clients.
Very nice. We have a trick question from Somu Chokalingam. We start with an end in mind, but for Sundar Pichai or Sudha Murthy, what they thought 20 years ago is not what they are today. So True. Can we get this right end game?
So branding, like I said, is more about values. What's the legacy you want to leave behind? It is not the job that you do. It is not the product that you have today. Okay, it's about how you're adding value. And that is when I do a detailed session, I always talk about, see, the brand that you carry is the tip of the iceberg. At the base of the iceberg are your pure values. If your value system is aligned, and it will reflect in any and every business that you do. So even for a Sudha Murthy, she may not be in the same profession or field of work, but the values Sudha Murthy spoke about 20 years back are the same values she talks about today. Read about her stories, read about her journey when she started off with Tata Motors. Everything talks the same values. So that is why she became stronger as a brand, because we don't see Sudha Murthy as something else, but we see Sudha Murthy for the values that she adds and the value she adds in people's life because of what she does. Tomorrow she may start she has an NGO, tomorrow she may do something very different, but a Sudha Murthy remains a Sudha Murthy. And that is why personal brands are, this is how rather personal brands are different from professional brands. So Sundar Pichai, if you look at his videos, have the same values that he talks about even today. That's what branding is all about. Yeah.
Good. There's one from Jawahar Avici. How do you break preconceived notions of your customers of your branding based on race or nationality?
How do you break that? It takes time, honestly. And I am also still working on a lot of preconceived notion. It's about how you add value and you work with them and through them. So once you've been able to break it with a particular segment of customers, work through them to reach out to others. It's like a ripple effect, right? But at the end of the day, you need to be extremely patient. Also understand, in these cases, you have to add massive value or double or triple the value that you would have otherwise added to another segment of people. So without sounding very biased here, I'm not even going nationalities. Even within your own country, there is so much of diversity, so much of mindset issues and cultural barriers within the country that when you're working with one segment of society with vis-a-vis another, you have to put in extra effort. So the branding that you need to, the way you brand yourself, I'm not saying the values change, the branding strategy changes. It'll be very different when you're targeting a North Indian market vis-a-vis a South Indian market. To give you a clear example, when I target a North Indian market, it is more about colors in my posters. It's more about, yes, it's a more about bigger, larger than life kind of thing. But when I'm talking about the same product for a South Indian market and promoting it through a social media, I'll have more data-driven things. I will have more, even the figures and the numbers that I have are more number-driven. So, these kind of nuances you need to keep in mind when you are talking to an audience of a particular segment. So understand what is their pain point, what is their need, and go double to change the mindset. That's the only way.
Good. One question from LS Kannan. Any quick tips on finding my niche?
Okay. A very, very rudimentary way of doing it is, one, make a SWOT analysis for your own self and do your vision board. Combine the two, you will get a fairly good idea. It's a very rudimentary way of doing it, but unless you don't have a consultant to help you out and take you through the process, start with making your own SWOT analysis and be honest. Because when we make our own SWOT, we try to either be overcritical or we try to, think we are larger than life or we are the best, the person in mankind. So just be aware of that and make your own thing. Yeah.
I don't know why you said that, Nandita, because when I do the SWOT analysis, O and T are blank. I have nothing to write.
Pravin, I told you, you are the best introvert I've ever seen in my life.
Lovely. Any comments? It doesn't have to be questions. You can please feel free to share your comments here. And I'm going to give you exactly 30 seconds, folks, to come up with something. It still continues to be neck and neck between Rishabh Jain and Arun. But of course, a whole lot of Ajanta Roy and Jawahar Avici came into at the later end, and Jyoti Thomas continues to play a cameo innings, coming in and out and in and out. Asking you formally, there are a couple of newer messages. Just a second. Okay, session, very good session. We'll visit your page, nanditapandey.com, and go right ahead. Nandita is a professional speaker. She charges a significant amount to go and give this kind of a talk in corporates. So she has donated her time for us in TiE Chennai. And it is customary duty on our side to go ahead and share that love back with her by giving her a testimonial, asking her a lot of questions, and also going to LinkedIn and writing in a short recommendation. And feel free to reach out, because this is also an opportunity for all of you to connect with somebody who's in the market doing, being there and doing that. And it's also an opportunity for Nandita to meet up with 50 odd entrepreneurs here in the Chennai circuit and the ecosystem. And she has promised to throw in a lot of data and numbers at us. So
I would definitely do that.
So thank you very much, Nandita. Thank you. You've been an amazing audience. Arun and Rishabh, you're going to get something, and half a book for Jyoti as well. So that is going to come your way. Priya and the entire TiE Chennai team, thank you for putting it together. Remember, folks, a WhatsApp group is going to be created. Any good morning, good afternoon, I'm going to personally come and kick you out. But let us use that WhatsApp group to put up our questions and together find answers, source speakers, organize courses and workshops for us. So Nandita, thank you. Have a great rest of the week. And all of you, you've been a lovely audience.